It's sharp.
What's going on? Today I'm gonna show how to make beats for 2hollis. This beat has like both the parts he does in this song, like with the switch up in the second half. So I'll break all that down. And by the way, all these like melody sounds are from my newest kit, which I just dropped. Trauma. It's free. It has like 120 presets for Serum, but I'll talk more about that later. Let's get straight into it. So the first on here is just this bass. Again, this preset from my kit. It's called Bass 2, and I just lay down this simple bass line right here. Here's what it sounds like. On this bass, it's just a distortion qualifier, which I have to mix up, turn down halfway, and then I put this hardcore kick preset on it. OTT, which is boosting the mid and like turning down the highs, but the mid and the low end. But then I also turn down the depth halfway, or like less than halfway, so it's not as noticeable. This EQ, which is taking out some high end and boosting some mid. And then this is an EQ which I bring in later, and I automate it to come on later, and it takes out low end, so I play it with the bass, and it kind of sounds cool. And then the shaper box thing, which sidechains it again. Turn this on later in the beat. Alright, so next on here is just this Serum lead. It's like a lead pluck type of sound. This is called leads feed in. And yeah, I kind of just lay down this like pattern that goes down here, and then it slides up to this B, down, and then this A sharp and G sharp, which are next to each other, so they're like tension notes, and yeah, they kind of sound cool. So here's what it sounds like. So this sound is kind of like detuned, I believe. So it gives it kind of a weird sound. But there's also this like automated reverb on it with one of the LFOs, and that makes it sound like a lot cooler. So yeah, just like a simple lead counter melody basically. Next is another counter melody. This is like a pluck sound. It's a synth from the kit called Synth Vibrant. And I just like laid down some super short notes that just, play throughout here, the melody, and yeah, just kind of adds a cool texture of the beat. So here's what it sounds like. On this, I just added a shaper box preset. So this is Bit Crush, and I just turned the resample down here. And then this filter, which is set to 1 bar, so every 1 bar it kind of gets a little bit softer basically, and the filter takes out some high end, as you can see here with this animation. After that, I added this lead sound. This is like a super simple kind of saw lead. It's called Lead Promise from the Trauma Serum Bank, and yeah, I just laid down the E, and then slides up to a B, and then the second part slides up to the C sharp. And this preset has the porta or portamento turned up very high, so it takes a long time for the lead to slide up, and it gives like a cool sound. Next after that, I had this layer from the kit. It's literally called a layer. Me and Ziad wanted to add a few of these just to like fill up space in the beat. It's not like a pad, it's more subtle, but they kind of sound cool. So it's just these simple notes right here. Just kind of laid down some notes I thought sounded good. They're not necessarily chord. I mean, they're probably chords, but I don't really know the music theory behind these. But yeah, here's what they sound like. So yeah, this stays pretty similar for the second part, but as you can see, I make these two notes a little bit longer, and then I add this B. But besides that, it's the same, and yeah, just like a cool little layer to make the melody not so thin. And I add OTT to boost the mid and the highs, and then reverb so it's not as dry. After that, I just add this like lead pattern, but it kind of acts like a pluck or an arpeggio, because I played a lot of notes like really quickly. I'm not just going like straight up or straight down with this. I'm kind of going up and then down and then back up, and yeah, it just gives it like a cool arpeggiated type of sound. And then for the second part, I pitched the melody up a few semitones, put the notes that were not in key back in key so they would sound right, and yeah, I got this type of melody. So here's what it sounds like. So on this, I did delay. It's on 1/4, and it's a ping pong delay. And then a little bit of phaser, but I turned the mix knob down. And the shaper box preset is for the intro. As you can see, it's set to 8 bars, and I have it automating the volume. So instead of automating the volume with like this, I just put the shaper box preset to turn on for the intro. And yeah, it just automates it to come in, and it fades in during this intro part. And here's what the full melody sounds like with the bass, the lead, the counter melody, the lead again, layer, and then this plucked lead arp sound. Alright, bet. So now I'm gonna break down the first drum pattern. This is just like some simple trap drums. I started out with just an 808 pattern. This just follows the bass line of the beat. I pitched this note up here an octave, so I went from E up to E6. I just kind of like doing that with my 808s sometimes, then just some simple chops. So here's what it sounds like. Next, just a simple clap pattern, just like a basic clap pattern. After that, I did a 2-step hi-hat pattern, and there's some like loop breaker on this with some effects, but I'll break that down after. So here's what it sounds like. So yeah, just like a super simple pattern. After that, it's this counter snare. Just hits after the 2 and the 4. Then there's this open hat. Just hits after the 1 and the 3. The crash pattern that hits on the 1, and then I added some delay on that. And then lastly, I added this kick, but the kick is pretty subtle. I turned the velocities down low, but it's just kind of to emphasize certain 808 notes, and yeah, just more text on the background. So yeah, that's all the drums, and here's what I sound like together. As for like the loop rater, the first thing I added is just this reverse one. There's like multiple reverse ones, but I like this like longer reverse, the 1/3 reverse. Then this envelope, the filter, it's like a vocal filter or something. There's like a lips on it, but I don't really know what that means. And then delay, which I have played at the same time. This is just like a reverb, and then this is a scratch sound. I think this one sounds cool. And then I just copied these over, but I take out the envelope and I do an A instead of an I or some shit. I don't even know. And then just same reverb, and this is a pitch bend instead of the scratch sound at the end. And there's nothing really else on the drums. Delay on the crash. That's it. So that's the intro of the beat. After that, I moved on to the switch up. I think the switch up's kind of cool. A few things I did here are this reverb transition, so I'll play that. Yeah, that's like what the transition sounds like. Obviously I have this reverb play that And then another thing I have changed is the key, but also the BPM of the beat. So it goes from 146 to over here, 156. I did this by going right here, creating an automation clip, and then changing it to whatever I wanted. So that was 156, and then creating another automation clip, just put them next to each other. Yeah, you get an automation change for the BPM. And then I also changed the key. I don't remember how many like semitones I changed, but it is a different key. All these sounds just stay the same though, except this bass line. So it's the same bass line, but I just did this thing where like I pitched every note up an octave. I don't know, it's like a EDM thing, I think. And I don't know much about these beats, but I do know certain things. And like for the like EDM switch up part, I thought this sounded good. So here's what it sounds like. Yeah, so that's just another bass from my kit. Again, bass volcano. It's from the drama kit. Then there is also some different drums. So I'll play what the pattern sounds like first. So just a super simple 4 on the floor kick pattern. This is the kick I used, kind of like a snappy, like weird kind of kick. And then this snare from a synthetic kit. And then this clap, and I had some stereo delay on that and did like this little thing right here. And the first clap has a little bit lower velocity. Basically it for this pattern actually. And there's also a snare pattern that hits on, every other kick drum. But yeah, here I'll play what the transition sounds like into that. I wouldn't say it's like my smoothest transition, but I do think it sounds good, and obviously it sounds better with vocals, so it's a little bit like hollow or whatever. There's not really much going on without vocals, but again, I think it would sound better with vocals. But yeah, that's the whole beat. Thanks for watching. Like I said, you can get my new trauma kit, first link in the description. 125 serum presets if you want to check that out. Some EFX motions presets too, which is like this effects VST, and then just some loops and midis. So yeah, man, thanks for watching. Free kit, go check that out.